What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Big Shaw Sports Podcast, and happy Easter to everyone. Everyone's having a great day. So let's just jump into sports. The NBA playoffs is in full swing. I want to talk about last night. The Golden State Warriors. If the Golden State Warriors, if they can play like they did last night with that lineup that they had, Golden State is going to cause some really big problems in the West, especially for Denver. Denver, they started off pretty good. The game was tight. The game was good. Oh, man, Denver is hanging on. But all of a sudden, Steph Curry was cold. And Thompson, this is what I like about Golden State. When Curry's cold, Green steps up or Thompson steps up. Or Wiggins steps up. Then when those guys started rolling, Steph Curry started rolling. This Warriors lineup is dangerous. I believe they can go real far or possibly make it to the NBA Finals with this lineup that the Golden State Warriors have. This is a very, very strong lineup. But don't count out Denver just yet. Don't count them out. Denver can play, okay? But if you let Golden State get off to a fast start and you let them run that ball up and down the court, they're going to beat you. They're going to smoke you. They're going to run you out that gym real fast. So I hope it's a good series. I know most people have Golden State sweeping them, but I don't think it's going to be a sweep, but I think it will possibly go to a game 7. Possibly go to a game 7. If this Golden State team again, if this Golden State team shows up, the same team we saw last night, they will be really, really dangerous to go up against. I would be scared to play Golden State. I wouldn't want nothing to do with them if they play the same way like they played last night against Denver. But don't count out Denver, though. Don't do that. I think this series will possibly, notice what I'm saying, possibly go to a game 7. Interesting game. Now let's talk about Philadelphia. That was a game that I loved seeing Joel Embiid. Let me tell you, this guy, I think he's the clear favorite to win the MVP. I think he's the clear favorite to win the MVP. If this man and James Harden and the rest of the crew, if these guys can pull it off and for some reason get to the Eastern Conference Finals, because I think they're going pretty far. Philly can come out of the East. But you got to look at Brooklyn. They play Boston tonight. You have to look at that game as well. But Philly, they got the momentum on their side. I think Philly can be a dangerous team. They look real good. They look really, really good. But how can Philly keep this up? Will Philly win game 2? Will they go on the road? Will they win game 3 and 4? Will they sweep? Will the 7 have a sweep? They possibly can. They possibly can. If this Philly team shows up, this can be another dangerous team, folks. While top of Philadelphia, Dallas, Luka Doncic, he didn't play. He may not play in game 2. You need your superstars. You need your superstars to play. I know it's a serious injury, but Dallas, if Luka don't come back, it's going to be a long day for the Dallas Mavericks. But I hope Luka can play in game 2 because you need him. Because if he doesn't play, Utah's going to win that series. Utah is not a bad team. I haven't watched the whole full season of the NBA, so I could be missing a lot of stuff. But Utah, they could possibly win this series because if Luka doesn't come back, Dallas is going to lose this series. They're going to lose this series. So let's get off that and let's talk about right now. Let's talk about today's games that's going on right now. Right now, well, let's give you the rest of the scores from last night. Then we're going to talk about today. The Jazz, they beat the Mavericks 99-93. That was the first round in the West. And Minnesota, they took care of the Grizzlies 130-117. The 76ers beat the Raptors 131-111. And the Warriors beat the Nuggets 123-107. But let's talk about Minnesota and Memphis. Karl-Anthony Towns. Who can stop him on Memphis? Nobody. Memphis, they could run the ball. They can run with anybody, I believe. But this Minnesota team is very special. It's a great lineup. But if you can't stop Karl-Anthony Towns, and Brother Anthony is what I call him, it's going to be a long series for Memphis. It's going to be a very long series for Memphis. Because Minnesota, they went in your house and they took that game from you. Then you got to go to Minnesota. It's going to be very, very crazy in the Target Center. So if the T-Wolves can get another victory and go home, I think they can sweep Memphis. So let's get on into today's game. I saw a few minutes of the Hawks and Heat game. It got a little feisty, but it was nothing to get up out of your chair and go crazy for. Butler and Young had a little razzle dazzle. It wasn't nothing to go crazy about. Throw your chair and do 10 backward flips. It was nothing. It was nothing. No punches were thrown. It was nothing serious about that. But the score, man, the Heat is beating the Hawks 86-60. That game was at the end of the third quarter on TNT. Miami taking care of business, folks. When you live by the three, you can die by the three. That's what Atlanta does. Atlanta want to run the court and shoot threes. No, you can't do that. Play some ball. Get to the lane. Get to the hoop. Get to the foul line. You live by the three, you're going to die by the three. And that's not going to save Atlanta in this series because you're not going to beat Miami that way. You have to beat Miami. You have to play Miami. Just don't shoot threes from all over the court like that's going to get you the victory. This is Miami. This is not no Rudy Poo team that you played in the regular season. This is the playoffs. This is the playoffs. So Atlanta, they're going to have to do something real quick before this got out of control. You don't want this to get out of control because Miami can beat you in Atlanta. And here's the game, but I'm not paying that series any attention. I just don't watch the Heat or Atlanta. But I will tell you this. The game to watch today at 2:30 p.m. is coming up shortly. So I'm not going to hold y'all too long. I promise. The Nets and the Boston Celtics. I'm going to tell you who to watch for in this game. Watch out for Kevin Durant. He can take off at any time. He can snap at any time. He is one of the greatest players to pick up a basketball. Yeah, he got Kyrie Irving and the rest of the guys. I'm not worried about Ben Simmons. I'm not worried about this guy or this guy. Watch out for Kevin Durant. I know what Kyrie Irving is capable of doing. I know what Kevin Durant is capable of doing. These guys can take over a game at any given moment. But hey, I'm not saying Boston sucks. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is you get KD started. You get that fire in KD, it's going to be a long day at the ballpark for Boston. But yeah, Boston has a team. Jason Tatum, same thing. When he's on fire, you don't know what to do with that man. That man is one of the best in basketball. So watch this series very closely. This series can easily go to a 7. This series is not going to a sweep, so put the sweep up. Don't even think about it. This game will be a very intense game. Boston, here's their chance right here. But like I said before, it's win or nothing for the Brooklyn Nets. Mark my words. It's win or bust. This is it right here. You got 2 superstars on this team. So something is going to have to give. They're going to have to beat Boston. They're going to have to get all the way to the finals. If they don't get to the finals, it's a bust. It's a bust. I don't want to hear about it anymore. It's a bust. New Orleans and Phoenix. That game there, Phoenix is too much for them. I know they have C.J. McCollum, and yes, you see who I'm wearing, LeBron James, but that's okay. Now, yeah, they have C.J. McCollum. I understand that. I see that. You got Brandon Ingram. I see what's going on in New Orleans. I really do. I'm happy they're in the playoffs. That means a lot to the city of New Orleans. Okay? That means a whole lot to the city of New Orleans. But the ride is over. The ride is over. You don't have enough to beat the Phoenix Suns. Devin Booker, Chris Paul, and company, that's too much. It's too much for the Pelicans to roll with. This is the playoffs. This is not the regular season. A lot of these teams play a whole lot better in the playoffs. I think Chris Paul has a lot to prove right now. I would love to see Phoenix and the Golden State Warriors in the Western Conference Finals. I would love to see that. That would be a great Western Conference Finals. But we're not going to go too deep. We're just going to focus on now. The Phoenix Suns, couldn't they sweep New Orleans? Yeah, I think they can. They have the team to do it. They have the team to sweep New Orleans. But all in all, this will be a great NBA playoffs. I love the play-in tournament. It's really fun. But you want to watch a game, Boston and the Knicks. This game will be very good. It's going to be very intense. I don't think there's going to be any crazy things or somebody tying their stuff up to the goalpost again. That was crazy. That was crazy. But let's leave the NBA alone. We're going to leave it alone. We're going to switch on over and talk about ladies softball. The ladies Sooners, okay, they were undefeated. I didn't realize they was 36-0. Blew my mind. But when the lady Longhorns beat them, yeah, they beat them. Snapped their winning streak. Snapped it in half. So congratulations to the Texas Longhorn ladies softball team out there in Austin. Great job for knocking off the number 1 team in the land in softball. That's a very great job. I'll be back in a few seconds. Thank you. All right, I am back, everybody. We're going to give you some softball games for tomorrow. Louisiana Lafayette, they're playing St. Louis. It's only 4 games. And Texas A&M, they will play Tennessee. These games are tomorrow. We do have some games today, but we're just going to worry about today's games. But softball is a great sport. I enjoy watching it, but when I see in Oklahoma, I say, oh man, those girls are bad. Well, in a good way. But the rankings haven't changed, and I don't think they came out yet. But Oklahoma, they're still sitting at number 1 for right now. So let's switch over to college football. We have some spring games. I'm going to tell you, hey, Alabama, they look really good, guys. My boys look really good. They got 2 good quarterbacks but who's going to back up Bryce Young? Hey, if anything, I hope not. If anything happens to Bryce Young, I believe Alabama will be in great hands with the 2 quarterbacks that we have behind him this year. The spring game looked pretty good. It was rainy. I've seen a little bit of it. It was rainy, but it was still pretty good. Alabama they're loaded. They're loaded. Okay. Now the thing is, how far Alabama could go in the college season. Let's predict. Now they're number 1 in the preseason polls right now because Georgia lost a lot of people. But here's my question. Can Georgia repeat? That's the question. Can they repeat? I can answer that. And it's my own question. I think Georgia, if you look at the Georgia Bulldogs, how they're built, how they're handled, I think the Georgia Bulldogs, I don't think they can repeat. I don't think they'll be able to repeat this year. But we're going to see once the college season gets here. I know everybody's ready to see some great college football games. I'm ready to see it. I'm ready to see what LSU can do. I'm ready to see that. LSU can possibly get over the hump and be that team where they once was. When LSU has everything together, it's a tough team to beat. Very tough team to beat when they got everything rolling in their direction. We're going to see how they go. But that's my dark horse in the SEC to, the LSU Tigers. I'm picking them very, 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 just like this. I'm going to stick with them in my dark horse team coming out. My dark horse in the ACC, I'm going to go with Miami. Because Miami, they got their man. They got their coach. Miami got who they want. So the thing is, can Miami shock the world? Can Miami go back to their glory days? Can they go back to their glory days? Who knows? We're going to find out. We will find out. The Ohio State Buckeyes, they had their little memorial for the late Dwayne Haskins. It was pretty well. It was a touching moment. It was touching. Michigan, I'm looking for big things out of Michigan this year. Same for USC. I'm picking them to take their division. So he look at me kind of crazy with the Trojans. I think they will fight, and they will fight. They will get over the hump. They will take the Pac-12. I think they will. I got hope for the USC Trojans. But let's jump back into the NBA. I know I missed a few things. I missed this. The favorite Laker of all time, the best Laker. When you think of the LA Lakers, who do you think of? Who is that name that when you say LA Lakers, they name just comes right out of your mouth? A lot of people are going to say Jerry West. They're going to say Magic Johnson. They're going to say the great late Kobe Bryant. They're going to say everybody's name, but they're not really going to mention Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. They're not. And why? And why when people ask that question, who is the best Laker? Who is the favorite Laker? When you think of the Lakers, who do you think of? Who is that guy's name that rings a bell? Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's name rarely comes up. And yesterday was his birthday. But you don't really hear Kareem's name as much. You don't hear his name as much as you hear Magic's, Jerry West's, but Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, when I think of the Lakers, the Showtime Lakers, that's who I think of. That's who I think of when I think of Laker Nation. I think of Kareem. Now, I wouldn't say LeBron James. Now, why would I want to say LeBron James is the best Laker? No, I can't do that. And you know, that's crazy. It's the same when you say the Knicks. When you think of the New York Knicks, who do you think of? Who do you think of? You think Patrick Ewing. I know a few friends of mine said, hey, you know one player that nobody talked about? I said, who is that? Allen Houston. Larry Johnson. Chris Childs. John Starks. Charles Oakley. We don't really talk about that. But those, now that line up there, that's for another story. That's for another podcast. But when I think of New York, same for the Lakers, the first name comes to my mind is Patrick Ewing. It's Patrick Ewing. But yeah, I like Johnny Starks. I liked Chris Childs and Charles Oakley. I just don't agree with Charles Oakley's choice of words, the way he's talking about Patrick Ewing. That stuff like that. You gonna talk to him about that. I know a lot of people, they didn't want to be heard, they didn't want to be seen because nobody's talking about them. So of course, this is what happens when their name is not in the news. Patrick Ewing has yet to say anything about Charles Oakley, and why? Why would he do that? Because he's the better man. So I think Patrick Ewing is just gonna let that slide. That's how he feels. They just want to talk to hear themselves. The NFL. Let's speak about that. The NFL. Then we're gonna get on to baseball. Now the NFL's draft is coming up. It's getting here. I think it's next week. Now I'm hearing the Dallas Cowboys may want to move up. Now, a player's name that I think the Cowboys should look at, or maybe not, is Minchie from Alabama, Minchie the third. Now, I understand the injuries and all this stuff, but I will look at it. You put John Minchie, CeeDee Lamb. Think about that wide receiver core in Dallas. That'll be a nasty wide receiver core in Dallas. That's if the Cowboys want to move up into the draft. You know, maybe higher. But Thibodeau, the good linebacker out of Oregon, he slipped. I read an article that the Detroit Lions head coach doesn't like him. Let me tell you something. He's not a generational fit. You know what? That's stupid. You need to get the best player available. You don't have a choice in Detroit. You don't have a choice of who you don't want. You need to get a player that can possibly help turn that franchise around. It is disgusting in Detroit. The fans need something to be happy about. And I know that they're not happy about the Detroit Lions. You need to get Thibodeau if you were the Detroit Lions. Make the pick for him. Turn that franchise around. They may want a quarterback. We're going to speak on Malik Willis here in a few minutes. But yes, I'm back. I don't have much time left. But the Detroit Lions, I'm highlighting them because I love the Detroit Pistons. I'm not a Lions fan, but I love my Detroit Pistons. But the Detroit Lions, you gotta give the fans something to cheer for. They have absolutely nothing to cheer for. What do they have to cheer for in Detroit? Nothing. They have nothing. All the teams suck. I've been to Detroit. I've seen it. But for some reason and somehow the fans flock to the Ford Center because they support their team. For them supporting their team, give them something to support. And let's get Mr. Thibodeau. Now, speaking of the Dallas Cowboys, trouble always seems to find their team. Now, the cornerback, I'm not going to say his name. Y'all know his name. He wasn't a shooter in the car. He was just in the car. This is what I will say. When I heard about this story, I said, you know what? I'm going to be really careful on how I say it. You have to be careful on the company that you keep. You are a player for the Dallas Cowboys. People watch that team. You love to hate the Dallas Cowboys. When something happens to a Dallas Cowboys player, it goes straight to the news media. Straight. So this guy was in the car. Okay? He was in the car. Now, I don't know if he knew anything. Obviously, again, he was in the car. So obviously he knew something. A young man lost his life looking for the shooters. They found the shooters. So now the Cowboys player had to speak to the police. So what will happen to him? Did he know about the shooting? Did he know that was going to happen? Sometimes when you're riding with other people, you don't know their intent. You don't know what they're going to do. You don't know their plans. All you know is you're getting into a car. But if you get into a heated argument with somebody, you're in anything. Not saying you're better than this person because you're in NFL and make a lot of money. You shouldn't be around certain individuals. You put yourself in positions like that. So, but I hope all is well with that situation. But let's speak on Alvin Kamara. Haven't heard it. I haven't heard a thing. I haven't heard nothing yet. Nothing. So I was asked a question. It wasn't a silly question. Can Deshaun Watson lead the Cleveland Browns to a Super Bowl? I love the Browns. I'm a Browns fan. I love the dog pound. But can he get the Cleveland Browns to a Super Bowl? Anything for Cleveland. If you believe, you have every right to believe in your team. But can he get them to the Super Bowl this year? Let's ponder on that. You got two great running backs. You got a good tight end. Yeah, I think he can. That's how loyal of a fan I am. Can he get the Cleveland Browns to the Super Bowl? Can Russell Wilson get his team, his new team, the Denver Broncos, to the Super Bowl? Baker Mayfield, he has yet to be traded. He has yet to get released. So, where does this sit for Baker Mayfield? I know he feels betrayed. He feels played, disrespected, as I would as well. I would feel humiliated. Trade me now or release me. That's what his agent should be telling the Cleveland Browns. Get my client out of Cleveland. But where is he going to go? Where is he going to go? Could he go to Seattle? Could he go to Carolina? I know some receiver, none of that some receiver in Carolina said he don't want Baker Mayfield on his team. Well, that's not your team, sir. That's not your team. You don't have any say so who you don't want and who you want. You're not Russ Wilson. You're not Tom Brady. You're not guys like that in that nature. Baker Mayfield, he could fit in Seattle. He could. Almost done. Let's see. Malik Willis. I know I forgot about him. Malik Willis, he got a great arm. Who's going to jump up and get him? You got Pittsburgh, Carolina, but he's going off the board pretty fast. He's going pretty early. But folks, that's it for me for today. I just wanted to show my face for today. I will be back. I will be back soon. I'm sorry. It's been great doing this, talking sports, because I love it. But enjoy the NBA playoffs. Get full. Happy Easter. Celebrate. Eat all the eggs you can. Have fun. Have a blessed day. Enjoy the rest of the day. Thank y'all for listening to the Big Shot Sports Podcast. And don't forget to go on my page, Big Shot Sports Report, or Big Shot Sports Podcast on Facebook, YouTube. Subscribe to it on YouTube. But when you go on my page there, you can comment, leave anything you want. It doesn't really matter. But thank y'all guys very much for listening to the Big Shaw Sports Podcast.